there.
Oh, that is absolute dynamite. And boom, it goes.
And boom, the layout goes. Slusta and Decran are on the move. To Decran.
Hi and welcome to London Invite. This is the women's semi-final. We have Bristol playing Spice. Symington with a nice grab deep for the Spice O-line. Gibson to the end zone for the score. Nice easy hold for the first point for that Spice O-line. Both of these teams, I believe, are taking this as a ranking event. So this will affect positively or negatively the EUS series ranking. I didn't see the number of the player who scored, so I will be asking from the side. I believe it might have been Lim. Apologies, it was Baochi Zhang that scored that point. Spice throwing a zone for the Bristol offense to try and break through, which they've done a great job of so far. Nat Oldfield with the disc. Spice going to match. Oldfield throwing up and around the defense. Nice toes to keep that one in. I believe it was Man. Great walk. Apologies for being slightly late. I was on the men's semifinal that overran. Clapham ultimately taking the win from Chevron. But some exciting stuff after the cap had gone. Bristol up 2-1. Both teams, I think, enjoying this weekend. Yesterday, very windy. Today, the wind is a little bit subdued. Bristol won all 3 of their games yesterday against Smog, Yaka, and Dublin Gravity. Spice winning 2, losing 1. Their only loss was to Iceni. They lost 8-11 in their first game. So I think that the goals are positive. Symington with the disc to Gibson. Across to Caitlin Simon. Bringing a 4th handler back to play against this Bristol zone. Big fakes from Symington to get some holes. Gibson crashing the cup. Looks like they've gone to pass in defense. That throw just going up too high, catching the wind over Symington's head. giving this Bristol D-line a potential break chance. McCarthy with the huck. Too far. Owen Zhang with the D. Gibson walking to pick up the disc. Looks like Bristol are back in their zoney set, or potentially a handless sag. That reset too far for Gibson, giving Bristol a very short field to try and play against. Bristol moving the disc very quickly. Von Knighty with the disc now. Stewart fakes a blade over the top. Great poach into the lane. Tries to throw it up over the top. Symington coming in, getting the D. Looks like there was a foul called by Martha Payne. Let's see it here. Goes to the back of the end zone where no one's marking. Symington definitely coming across from the poach side. Hard to tell the kind of contact. Looks like it was contested and will be sent back to Stewart. Discussion now as to what the stool count is. Coming in at 6, it looks like. Fake the hammer immediately. Opts to throw the reset to Stewart. Handlers working in amongst themselves. Not sure if Bristol have gone into an end zone set. Great work here by the handlers. Ooh, and almost going into the splits is Stewart. Disc goes high. Zhang with the disc again. Takes the pivot as where it is. Dishes it off to Gibson. Ooh, and a bit of a collision in the handler reset space between Symington and I believe Piper as the defender. Gibson with the disc, throwing deep to sister Kate Gibson. Looks across the field. Going to ground is Caitlin Simon to secure the catch. Alwyn Zhang to Kate Gibson. Back to Heather Gibson for the score. 2-2. Dirty hold for the Spice O-line, bringing it even 8 minutes into the game. I'm now being joined by Tom Abrams of Clapham Ultimate as my co-commentator. I just did your semi-final. Congratulations, making the final.
Thank
How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. For those of you who weren't watching, a tight game against Chevy, and good to be here as well. 2-2. How's the start of the game from Alana?
Well, first, glad to have you. Second, it's been good. Both teams looking at throwing zony looks defensively. I said earlier in this, it's not as windy as it was earlier, yesterday particularly, but might be slowly picking up through the course of your first game. We'll see how it progresses in this women's division. Of the wind, Spice will be going upwind from here. Based on our camera view, the wind is going from right to left. So Bristol will have this downwind offensive point. Bristol O-line looks like that classic O-line, kind of summoned primarily by Boyd and Link, Oldfield, Henry, new addition Jasmine Bryan boys. Trying to read some of the other numbers. Can't quite see from here. There's a pole in the way. The pole goes up, fielded by Boyd. To Oldfield. Immediately looking deep to Henry. Nice point.
Yeah, really clean play from Bristol there. They isolated the far side of the field as we're looking, and were able to get outside the coverage that Spice had there. And just working down the sideline. A lovely shot from Saskia.
Yes, Kantorowicz getting that continuation cut from this original Nat Oldfield initiation. Here's Kantorowicz with Henry shooting deep for the score. So I think everything on serve for now. I did miss the first point of the game due to the open semifinal overrunning. Bit of excitement at the end. You should definitely go and give it a watch. But seems like everything so far standard. Bristol up 3-2.
Interesting to see if Bristol come out with a matchy or a zoney type look. We were saying earlier in the game that there's been zone type looks. That last point we saw was pretty matchy, and Bristol kind of ran straight through it. So pool's gone up, reaches just short of the brick mark from Amelia Durbin. Heather Gibson to pick up, and it's a junky look, but she finds a lovely break through the middle and slice it off to the races. Back to Heather Gibson on the backhand side. Resets into the centre. Tempo's excellent from Spice right now. They get it to the far side of the field with Kennington. Bristol have got some pressure building up, but a nice reset up the line. And break into the middle to Heather Gibson and continuation to the backhand side. Another really clean point.
Another really clean point. Sophie Mance in the end zone for the score, but great handler movement. And even amongst the cutters as well, I feel like every player on that line touched the disc. Ball may be one, but great work to keep the disc moving. I don't think any player really held onto the disc for longer than 2 or 3 seconds. Always looking back the other direction to the counter flow. Doing a good job swinging the disc from one sideline all the way to the other, making the defense have to run, reposition, and bring it back. Hard to defend that.
Absolutely excellent fundamental Spice. And the last point for Bristol too, so we'll see if the defense can come up with a plan to slow down the offense.
You can see the leadership on the line for Spice, giving matchups. I think as you mentioned that it's been an offensive game so far, so let's see if we can step up some defensive pressure, start getting some turnovers, and break chances.
Bristol rotated their O-line slightly at this point. We've got 2 new faces, so let's see how they go. Another ball out to about the brick, off pick up, extends into length. Nice first fizzle cut out to the flick side. And a hot, miscommunication. Ellie Payne was looking for Jem Henry in the deep, but Jem just turned under.
It's a very similar initiation cut by Payne, as we saw from Nat Oldfield in that last point.
Great chance now for Spice. Swing over to the backhand side. Very, very staggy look from Bristol there, trying to contain upfield throws and make Spice take a lot of passes there. Spice so far look comfortable doing this, but they are also not looking like they're pressing the disc down the field. Oh, and that's a great D on the far side. Gemma Henry gets the D. Often picks up. Looking for a reset, a lot of pressure around the disc. Finds a nice swing to Carla Link in the middle. Continuation to the backhand side. Snagged right on the sideline. Andrews and gets quick chip up the open side to Ellie Payne.
So we mentioned that defensive pressure. Spice getting the turn, unable to make too much out of it for their D-line's offense, but sometimes you have to take those as wins and trust that that will build up, and as the pressure mounts throughout the course of the game, you can punch one in.
You're all about creating chances. I like the Spice on D. They're a little more aggressive, trying to take away the unders, and that led to a tough shot that Bristol tried to take. Missed on, but they all count. See how Bristol come out now on D. I think the story of this game could be who can get that first upwind break. At least that'll be the first storyline I'll be looking for in the game. What do you think, Alana?
Yeah, I think I agree. That upwind break is going to be critical. I think, like we said, it's a bit of an offensive game, defensive pressure. It has to come to get that break. So, despite the defensive pressure on the last point, struggled offensively when they got the turn. So, one thing to get it, but another thing to be able to punch it in. Gibson to Symington, cross to Robinson. Bounces back to the middle. Unintended receiver, I think, but Durbin able to get a hand in there for the D.
Bristol now the chance to break up win, so both teams having a chance in the last couple of points. Spice being more aggressive and taking away the unders. Good snag on the far sideline. Pressure building. Tough reset to the sideline, well executed. And a nice break into, just a little inside on the break and dropped. Shot from Kate Gibson, just out of reach.
I love the immediate pick up fast break, knowing that you have a receiver going deep. Difficult with this downwind shot, I think just a little bit too far out of reach. But classic Gibson offense we love to see. Great poach D there by Symington.
Spice, another real quick tempo there to punch the goal in.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Spice know what their style is. They like that fast pace. Traditionally, through the club, especially when I was playing there in 2022, mostly played a lot of Hex. And so a lot of that fast pace, continue the throw and goes, and then bounce it back into the middle.
Absolutely, we're just seeing the block from Marina Symington and the real quick pace for the goal after that. I think there were 4 passes in about 3 seconds. The other thing I wanted to call out from that point was off the pull. Heather Gibson fielded the pull, or had the pull set to her again, and for the second point in a row downwind, was able to break straight through the zone for a 20-yard gainer. Really, really effective work from her and the downfield players playing behind the cup to find some space and kind of neutralize Bristol's zone.
Spice again doing matchups on the line.
Still very early in the game at 4-3, but the teams will be starting to feel the pressure building as we trade, waiting for that first break, like real break opportunity. We've had a couple that have been the far end of the field, so we'll see how that goes through this point. Another pull from Spice, reaches just short of the brick mark, and looks like we have a split stack, maybe a horror.
A big sag in the lane, but Huck going up regardless. Ooh, bit of a miscommunication it looked like between Link and Man as to who was going to go for the disc.
Yeah, both the Bristol players were there and in position to catch it. It's tough to see the disc and your teammates and communicate all of those things in a really short period of time, but they'll be disappointed not to have brought that one down.
Gives this Spice D-line the opportunity to play some offense.
Seeing a lot of bracketing here from Bristol. Downfield, you might be able to see this on the camera, but they've got a deep poach and then multiple players playing on the under in the space. Good pickup from in the middle of the field, similar to Symington in the last point where someone from the deep was able to come in on a slightly overthrown lead pass.
Boyd with the disc. Hitting man on the near sideline. Finding Link. A bit of contact there. Both players going down. Would imagine, yep, foul uncontested, or sorry, accepted now. Immediately, Link hitting that flick around to man in the end zone for the Bristol score, 5-4. I like the defensive pressure. I do feel like it's ramping up. Both teams seem pretty high with that energy this morning. Sometimes you have second day, people coming in a bit flat, but you don't see any of that here on this pitch. Semi-finals, both teams excited to be here.
Absolutely. Both teams as well tactically have found the way to play downwind and slightly struggling to play upwind. So what we're seeing is a lot of underneath leverage from the defenders in the cutter space, and it's really tough for those cutters to get free because their defenders are starting with a buffer to give them space there, and sometimes we're having a really big deep poach there as well. I'll be interested to see if either team is able to create a good hucking opportunity into the upwind space.
Haven't seen anything upwind yet in regards to hucks, but the pools haven't been overly affected by this upwind downwind situation. Most of them coming to around the brick mark, as you mentioned in the last couple of points. But defensively, they are definitely taking away those unders, trying to clog that under space. We'll see if anyone takes the bait and boosts it deep.
Looking here at the start of the point, if we see the same Bristol zone that Heather Gibson has found holes in the last 2 points. She's actually started downfield this point, so we've got Arwin with the pull into traffic. Call on the play, really good look for a poach block there, but just a little bit of contact. Very close.
Very close. I can see kind of both arguments. I wouldn't be too surprised if this goes contested, but it has been accepted by Taylor. Symington will have the disc. Good spirit, good chat.
Yeah.
Nice, short and concise.
Yeah, nice effort from Taylor there as well. Like, there was not too much body contact in that. There was a bit of hand and arm contact, and that's why the foul's been accepted. But it's smart control and understanding of where the spaces are to be able to attempt to make a play in a safe way. Another nice little sag into the lane by Taylor there to shut down the downfield option.
Reset to Symington just too far. And that upwind huck that we've been looking for from Piper. Not quite able to be reeled in. Kate Gibson with the D.
Spice able to get 2 players there against 1, and the sideline also playing a part. Great D by Kate.
Kate to Symington.
Big swing across the field. Picked up by Robinson. Durbin working hard on the mark. Short chip shot to Gibson. Back to Robinson. Robinson looking deep. She put it up. Piper is closing. Great grab
by Mance. Fantastic flow there by the Spice team. Offensive line.
Absolutely, all the way from diagonal corner to the other diagonal corner. And that's really tough for the defense because all of the places they think they've got some control are changing quickly as they move the disc.
Absolutely, it's one of the most difficult things as a defender. You can't take away the whole field, so having to move back and forth, definitely so punishing for an offensive system. They did a great job of it. The swing coming from the far sideline to the near sideline to Robinson, and then playing down to the end zone.
Absolutely. 5-all. Who's your money on so far, Alana?
Ooh, my money. Whoa. Am I a betting woman? Yes. I think that so far Bristol's upwind offense have shown a little bit more potential, but I wouldn't be too surprised, especially if the score stays tight, that they bring a couple of the Spice O-line players across to those D-lines in important moments to try and get breaks. So I do think it'll be a close one. I'm always for the underdog story, so I'm going to go with Spice.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I think this is really too close to call at the moment. I love your analysis there that Spice have got some players who they could bring across and potentially create opportunities to make that upwind score. I think we'll see that later in the game, though, probably after halftime.
Agreed. I don't think that they'll make that play unless maybe they can get a break in before half. Kind of one of those Galaxy Point moments, but likely to be a late game call.
Short ball fielded to Hocking about midfield. Big sag in the lane and swung slightly backwards to the backhand side. Looks like FM force. So Spice are trying to clog the centre of the field. Lovely cut from Jen Henry to win into the centre of the field. Back out to the flick side. Spice is still staying in their FM for now. They're even trying to put some sags out, and Bristol are working through it. It was a lovely cut by Nat Oldfield. Reset centre field. Chip shot to Nat Oldfield up the middle. We're about 10 yards out from the end zone line now.
Boyd and Oldfield working well together. Oldfield throwing into the end zone. Freaking Tarowitz and Torowitz. I butchered it the first time. I had to ask her yesterday how to pronounce her surname. I was like, Saskia, help me. But great work for her picking up that goal. Great patience working through that FM, not clogging too much of the middle, but like you say, making some of those chip shots, throw and go motion, struggling for the defense to try and catch up on those upline motion.
Absolutely.
Movements.
The challenge of FM for the defensive unit is the force is changing frequently, and if you're able to maintain tempo as the offense, you can really put your defender in the spin cycle.
Yeah, the constant repositioning and orbiting defensively in an FM can sometimes be killer. So we have the Spice O-line back out. Bristol's D-line. With Stewart on the desk for the pull. Nice pull by Stewart. Gibson fielding. Doesn't take that initial centering option. Alwyn Zhang with the slash cut into the open underspace. Little bubble there by Kate Gibson, but secures it. Looking to Robinson coming down the middle. Hits Heather Gibson. Little ballet leap to get the disc. And immediately tossed off to Grace Wilkinson in the end zone for a score. Another pretty easy offensive point. Both teams look like they're almost waltzing the disc down the field in that downwind direction.
Absolutely. Both teams are in control right now on offense, and it's going to be the job of the defense to force them into secondary options. I think we're seeing similar styles of play in each offensive point. For the teams are playing differently, but they're each playing their own offensive style. So Spice moving the disc really quickly. Once they get it moving, it doesn't slow down, and Bristol really struggling to slow it down. I'd be interested to see if either team looks to force the other team to shoot a bit more. We've seen a couple of turnovers on deep shots. They are tough in this wind to get them out ahead of the player, but then slowed down enough that it doesn't fly too far. So that's the adjustment I'd be looking to see from both teams to slow down the tempo of their opponents.
And maybe that's what they're talking about right now in their individual team huddles. As a timeout has been called on the field, we are going to take a timeout here. please stay with us as we have a message from our sponsors.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
And we are back in this women's semi-final. Bristol 6, Spice 6. The sun is out here in Osterley at Grasshoppers RFC. A little bit breezy, as mentioned previously. Bristol will be shooting downwind. We're all waiting for that upwind break opportunity. Whichever team gets it first is likely to be the one that will come away with the win today.
Absolutely, I agree with that, Alana. And I think there is a bit of wind here, but it's not unplayable. And I think both teams' coaching and leadership staff will be thinking about how can we find the poise we need when we get the opportunity to play it when it is a bit tougher, but it's not unplayable. And they'll be looking for that as we get into the second part of the first half.
Agreed, 100%. Both of these teams have some phenomenal throwers that can throw in this wind. It's not like it is going to be that punishing and that detrimental that you immediately have to play Huck and D style.
You mentioned earlier, Alana, that we might see Spice stack a line, and I think we've seen the first time this game, we've got both Gibson sisters for this upwind defensive point. I don't think we've seen that yet this game.
Walking with the disc. Takes the reset to Link. He swings it all the way to the far side, looking for Boyd, just too high, and bounces out of the hand, giving this Spice D-line an upwind opportunity, as we mentioned.
I'm really interested to see the Heather Gibson versus Carla Link matchup here.
Lynch going to the ground for the catch. Trevino with that inside break to Natasha.
Shot to Gibson.
Taylor. Oh, with a great D, almost a second attempt by Lynch. It looks like a foul has been called.
Foul called by Heather Gibson, so we did see the Heather Gibson-Carla Link matchup shot too. From the replay action we're getting from Heather Gibson there, looks like she's calling that Carla Link came through her shoulder to make the play. Heather Gibson has a bit of the space, and Carla is trying to edge around her. Hard to tell if that contact was a foul or not from our perspective. They're obviously talking through it on the field. Players taking a little longer about this call. Both teams know how important this upwind break could be.
There's another replay of it. And despite that foul call going up, I do really like Lynch's second attempt at it. Carla Link kind of macking the disc. And Roisin Lynch trying to hit the deck to get under it. Unsuccessfully. Here we go. Another look at that foul. And there's Lynch. Hilarious. Long discussion going on the field.
Yeah, I expect at this point the most likely outcome is contested given the length of conversation, but they're still taking their time.
What do you think about the decision on the Huck there?
It's a 1v1 option. I don't hate it. I think that's the first time we've seen an opportunity to hit the end zone, and you've got to take your shots when they come. I would say also Spice were making good progress into the wind. Part of that comes from because of them making really aggressive movement. Discus going back for a contest. We're around just outside the brick mark.
Taylor with the disc. Salin.
Swing to the middle with Kate Gibson. Oh, there's a bump in the far side lane, but both players happy to play on. Love to see that. And back to Kate Gibson in the middle.
Lynch with the disc. It's Gibson. And Trevino in the end zone for the score. That is that upwind break that we have been waiting for.
Yeah, so Spice have stacked their line and they've made the play. We saw both Kate and Heather Gibson getting on disc and up a couple times there. Heather Gibson with the assist, I think, or the hockey assist. We'll have to wait to see the replay. But Spice stacked their line for that one and it's paid off for them. Really important point now is the wind switches. It's the first time the offenses are going to play the other way. The defense has played the other way. And Spice will be looking to use the little bit of wind that is here to try to put pressure on Bristol. If Bristol are able to score this one, the pressure then flips back onto Spice.
Yeah, a lot of the time with that upwind, downwind, the upwind is powerful, but then securing that downwind break, kind of double jeopardy. You need to get that downwind piece. So, as you say, it's kind of switching up where the pressure would lie.
Absolutely.
Spice cooling out their D-line. Will be interesting to see, as you said, how they adjust if they get the chance to play on offense. But now they will be shooting downwind.
So we see, I think we've got the Gibson sisters out again, Arwen Zhang, Marina Symington. This looks a lot like the Spice O-line we've seen so far this game.
Agreed. The additions of Lucy Sinman and Grace Wilkinson, Roisin Lynch.
Bristol upwind offense is looking like their O-line. You've got Gemma Henry, Saskia Kantorovitz, Nat Oldfield, Carla Link, Ellie Payne, and I can't quite see the far side right now.
I think it's Andrews.
So this point is for half for Spice. Pressure from Heather Gibson. Lovely breakthrough up the line to Carla Link. She's got power position, well covered. Big poach in the deep from Kate Gibson. Break side shot up the flick side. There's a pick call.
Bit of a discussion going on. Disc will go back to Link.
Diskin coming in on 4.
And Zhang able to get the hand up in that handler reset space for the D. Kate Gibson picking up to Symington. Back to Gibson. High disc there for Symington, but run down safely. Almost looked like a bit of a dominator set with Lynch. I just feel really far down the field.
Bristol really looking to use Sags to control the movement. There's a pick call downfield.
Pick or a foul between Boyd and Zhang.
Bristol's O-line playing a slightly different style of D to the D lines we've seen so far. Sags proving effective at limiting the downfield options from the cutters who you just mentioned are a little far downfield, but Spice are able to move the disc consistently because there's limited pressure on the handlers. Swing back to the middle to Symington. Disc on the far side with Heather Gibson. Looking reset at Symington. Good cover from Saskia Kantorovitz into the middle to Kate Gibson and up chip shot to Symington. Symington looking downfield, right on the end zone line now. Sag in the lane from Ellie Payne, stop the goal opportunity there. And right on the far side corner with Symington. Quick backhand up line to Kate Gibson for the goal from Marina Symington.
Fantastic block there by the Spice offense, but I really liked the switching and the poachy looks from some of the Bristol players. As you said, kind of Ellie Payne stepping into that lane to stop one of the goals. Almost running a little bit more of like a buzz or a roll switch on one of the upline cuts. I think that kind of defense will pay off in the long run, whether it's today or through the course of their season, building that synergy and chemistry together. But with that, Spice have taken half. Gibson scoring the 8th goal, Bristol at 6. We're going to take a quick break here. Here's a message from our sponsors.
Yeah, look, all of my friends going crazy. I gotta brag on myself.
I'm Stef Pazzo, and I must eat. Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater. On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe. Oh, wow. Guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of. Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Go find Stef Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
And we are back here in the women's semi-final. Spice with that upwind break, and they also punched in the downwind partnering break there. So Spice up 8-6 on Bristol.
Oh, good.
Coming out of half, the energies still seem quite high from both teams. Didn't see anything drop. No heads from the Bristol side. They know that it's just an upwind break for themselves to get as well, and then push in that downwind break. But great kind of strategic moment to stack their line going upwind there.
Yeah, smart play from Spice. Really important moment here for Bristol. They're going to be playing upwind O. If they're able to put this one in, then they get the opportunity to play downwind D against Spice. Oh, I think we're looking to find the disc. Classic moment out of half-time. Starting to see a bit of crowd build up around this sideline as the game goes on. The teams who finished the last game have had a chance to get a bite to eat and a drink, and there's excitement building around the semi-final at 8-6 to Spice.
Andrews fielding the pull to Hawking. Looking for Nat Oldfield. To Gemma Henry. Disc gets high for Ellie Payne. Unintended receiver. Nat Oldfield laying out for that disc. Very close to their own end zone line now. Ooh, and another one very close to the ground, but Lulu Boyd able to save. Hitting Nat Oldfield on the reset. Oldfield indicating the stack in the end zone is really far away and to come a bit shallower. Boyd and Oldfield kind of just passing amongst themselves. Andrews getting involved. That inside shot to Oldfield. Finding Ellie Payne. high disc up to Henry, able to twinkle toes that one in, and that is that other upwind break for Bristol, bringing the score now. Spice 8, Bristol 7, giving Bristol the opportunity to shoot downwind on D.
Super important point there for Bristol to get that hold. They started off with a big side stack lane play on the far side of the field as we look at it, and they just slowed down around the end zone. It felt like Spice were building pressure. That Oldfield was able to go pretty much every other around the end zone, and a lovely break there from Ellie Payne to Jem Henry. Good feet, gets the disc down, gets her foot down, and that's a really important goal for this game.
And I gotta say, Bristol during the halftime and even now, they looked very confident. For some teams, when you see that kind of break combo come that Spice got in the first half, maybe nerves will start to affect. Maybe people get a little bit disappointed. But they didn't seem flustered at all. Never really appeared to show anything different from the first half of the first half anyway. So lots of confidence, lots of trust, which...
Really good resilience from Bristol. It's tough.
Absolutely.
It's tough when you know you're waiting for that first break opportunity and the other team gets it, and they've put themselves in a great spot right now.
Especially coming out of that half on O, having to go upwind.
Ball comes downwind. Near the end zone line, Arwen Zhang sets to Kate Gibson. Looks like a zone look from Bristol.
Yeah, definitely a zone look from Bristol. Looks quite passive, almost like a wall 3 in the front. Symington coming back.
Bristol really looking to make Spice take a lot of passes. Their zone playing the other direction hasn't been super effective so far this game, but this so far has been some pressure. Lovely chisel through from Symington and Gibson. They've gained about 10 yards and just in front of the brick now. Good play from Spice here into the cup, forcing the cup to react. Symington with small chisel into the cup again. Kate Gibson, Marina Symington doing a lot of work here, a lot of touch to the disc. Swing to the far side. The zone here is not putting a lot of pressure on each individual throw, but it's looking to increase the number of throws that Spice have to take, and eventually looking for an opportunity. Swing to Arwen Zhang on the far side, and all the way to the far side. Spice really looking to play with tempo here and force the zone to react. Lots of passes, but we haven't moved too far up the field so far. Symington looking to go through or over. Back to the flick side.
I wonder if it's worth bringing a fourth back to try and create more crashes going into the front wall, find some more holes.
Absolutely. The Spice downfield is looking a little static, and that's enabling Bristol to apply more pressure, get more eyes on the disc. Lovely breakthrough from Arwen Zhang to Symington, and she gets 2 or 3 more passes out of that break. The Bristol wall managed to recover though, and we're up around halfway now. Shot from Spice to Heather Gibson, lays out just ahead of her. Bristol's patience there paying off on D. Let's see what they've got on O.
Piper immediately shooting deep on her cut. Comes back under and continues to go deep with a great layout there by Piper. For Bristol to put in that downwind. Critical moment. It looks like there's something cooled on the field. I did not see it. I'm going to be honest. I was looking at the disc. You can see it here. Looks like there was a bit of a foul cooled. Looked like the follow through of the huck might have hit Symington in the face as an offensive throwing foul.
Players are all trying to work out where they need to be on the field. It's working out if the play on the disc affected that throw, or if it happened after the throw.
You can see it there. Symington does get boshed with that backhand huck in the face. I think it's a question of is Symington moving as the force? And are there any force infractions?
So I think we should see that go to Piper. I think that in the rules is fairly clear that that contact is incidental happened after the throw, and we should see the disc back on Piper on stall 0 as the kind of completion of that pass.
I'd agree. I think that is the most sensible and fair outcome. You get another look there at the Piper bid. Fantastic work.
Great catch by Piper.
There's definitely a question now as to the injury was cooled, the disc staying with Piper. I think that looks fairly agreed. And now, where do the players go on the field to try and fill in? I think Piper also took a sub, Nat Oldfield coming in with the disc. Violation cooled. Just picks up the disc to throw it. I don't know if there was a self-check there.
Yeah, there was definitely some motion started before the disc was checked in, and I think players have all started at different times. I guess the question for them is, did it affect the play? We've got a no call signal on the field, but we're still talking. Goal signaled.
Goal signaled. Lots of stoppages and chats going on in this one, but a big moment for Bristol.
Absolutely. All the conversations have been very good-natured. Players recognizing the importance of these moments and just taking a couple seconds to reach the fairest resolution.
Absolutely. I think that's the key of it. These teams are going to be playing each other a number of times through the course of this season and seasons to come. Keeping the conversations short and sweet is great when you can, but making sure that the temperament and the attitudes between the teams maintains a healthy relationship.
Absolutely. Just seeing a replay of that great catch from Piper. Those couple of passes afterwards didn't end up counting, but we did have a one-pass goal from Nat Oldfield, who came on to replace Piper to bring the score to 8-all. So we're trading once again. Spiced on offense. They have the advantage of playing offense downwind coming into the second half of this game. Bristol sideline starting to get loud. Don't know if you can hear that on the stream, but we're hearing it loud and clear around here.
I think this is, again, one of those, you mentioned resilience earlier, one of those now counter-resilience moments for Spice. It's, you had that high, you got those breaks, you were winning at half. You still have that advantage, like you say, of playing offense, going downwind, but you have to maintain your head, and you have to be able to finish it off. So a good challenge for a pretty young team. Still plenty of time left on the clock. 17 minutes, about almost 16 minutes.
Lady Paul from Bristol rolls out of the sideline. We're going to have Heather Gibson pick up the disc around the brick mark level on the backhand sideline. No pressure on the reset to Zhang into the center. Lots of sags again from Bristol. They're trying to make it hard to play downfield. Oh, and a missed swing from Zhang to Symington. Opportunity for another upwind break for Bristol. Set to Durbin, far side, about 5 yards out. Durbin looking for a reset option. Gets a reset straight backwards, a pick call.
I think the disc will probably stay with Stewart. Looks like an injury has also been called. Potentially a foul as well.
Okay, so we're about 10 meters out, far side. Players just getting set before we bring the disc back in.
Disc now in. Stewart to Orcock. Swinging to Durbin. With that shot inside, but just too short. Symington intercepting. Heather Gibson shooting deep to Zhang.
Great pressure from Orcock to get that block. Back into center to Orcock. Chip shot up the middle and to the flick sideline to Durbin. Durbin looking into the middle. Well shut down by Kate Gibson. Still rising. Swing to the middle. Back to Orcock. And swing to the far side. Great continuation look. Back to Orcock in the middle. And swing to the flick side with Durbin. Durbin getting to a higher stall again. Oh, just missed the catch on the reset. Spice get another look. Kate Gibson asking her team to stay calm. She puts the disc into play. Swing to the middle with Symington. Swing to the far side with Zhang. Bristol's sag defense is being really effective for Sick playing downwind. Earlier in the game, Sick were able to break through and make some shots to their cutters. Spice, sorry about that, everyone. Too many S's in my life right now, it seems. Far side shots. Kate Gibson with the unfortunate drop there.
Durbin picking up the disc for Bristol. Hits Stewart up the line. Fakes off the huck and back to Durbin on the reset. Forcing backhand into that trap sideline. Able to get the reset out to Durbin. Continuing the flow all the way across to this side of the field. Morel with the disc. Stewart. Nice around break. Piper and Stewart back and forth amongst each other.
Bristol really having to grind right now.
Oh, and just too far out of the hands of Taylor. I think there was an injury called by Zhang from Spice, but after the turn, Roisin Lynch coming on. Bristol also taking that opportunity to put some fresh legs on. Morel coming off. Gemma Henry coming on. Disc now live in Heather Gibson's hands.
Spice getting back to that quicker tempo again that served them really well in the first line. Great bid from Bristol, just missed. Gemma Taylor working hard to catch back up there. Great. Heather Gibson just missed her shot up the middle. It was a good option and one that she hit consistently earlier in the game.
Stewart with a big huck going deep. Just too far out of reach for Ruth Taylor. Giving Spice another chance at life.
Yeah, I think this point is really shaping up to be one of the turning points of the game. Spice's O-line playing downwind, Bristol's D-line having a number of shots to play upwind. We didn't see too many opportunities in the first half. Big shot from Heather Gibson out to the backhand sideline, really well executed.
Lynch resetting to Robinson. Finding Kate Gibson on the far side. Cutters again quite far down the field. Taking up a lot of that deep space. Piper on the ground. Marking Kate Gibson. Looks like a foul might have been called. Potentially a push-off foul maybe. On trying to get open in that reset space.
It looked like to me both players were trying to attack the same space and they're discussing whether that was a foul or incidental contact here.
Here's another show of it.
It looks like Piper might have just trodden on Kate Gibson and lost her footing.
Disc staying with Gibson. Now streaking up the line. Disc high, too high for Gibson to reel in. Durbin picking up. Centering to Stewart. Short field turn by the Bristol D-line.
Spice grinding their way downfield, about level with the brick mark, coming in on the backhand side. Symington up line, just too far.
Shot going up by Stewart, looking for Ruth Taylor. Again, too far. But I like these aggressive looks, shooting upwind hucks. We said it earlier, we hadn't seen that much of it. That one quite closely contested.
Yeah, great physical matchup there between Taylor and Gibson. Really exciting to see. I think both teams trying to get their big athletes into some space to try and run the game.
They are quite similar athletes. Very explosive.
You see Bristol again looking to sag in the lanes and slow down Spice's tempo.
That one just going too far. Lynch trying to toe the line, but unable to.
Short field opportunity for Bristol here. Durbin bringing it in. No mark on Orcock in the middle. Durbin so far looking downfield.
Into the end zone, through the hands of Taylor. Piper kind of right there behind, but unable to get it. So back with Spice's O-line, shooting downwind. Fauci cutting deep, but not going to be hit.
Bristol really looking to contain that deep opportunity. Spice tempo has slowed down a little, and Bristol sags are proving really effective at forcing Spice just to have to swing the disc. Heather Gibson asking her teammates to make some more vertical opportunities there.
Their zone is quite effective. Big huck coming out by Kate Gibson.
Covered by Gemma Henry, gets the block. Swing to the far side with Piper. Piper looking downfield for Durbin. Durbin on the backhand sideline, about level with the brick mark. Great pickup on the backhand sideline. Gemma Taylor on the far side now. Look for the huck, well covered on the mark. Set back to Durbin in the centre of the field. Durbin looking for Henry on the far side. Oh, so Orcock, sorry, on the far side. Orcock break into the middle to Henry. Henry continues to Stewart. Stewart to Taylor, great grab by Taylor there. Bristol around the brick mark, showing good patience, playing into the wind. There's a call on the field.
I think in that Johnson stopped and was cutting back to come back into the reset space as Gibson was coming across. It happens. Two players in the same space.
Set to Durbin in the centre field. Now seeing Spice put some sags into the lanes. Really good find between two defenders there, up to Gemma Henry, close to the goal line. Gemma Henry looks for the reset to Stewart, and Stewart looks for a break, well covered by Heather Gibson. Swing to Gemma Henry in the centre of the field. Swing to Orcock on the backhand side. Bristol moving the disc comfortably, but not knocking on the door. They're knocking on the door, but haven't had a good opportunity to hit the end zone yet. Lots of fakes from Stewart on the far side. High stall out called by Kate Gibson and accepted.
Frustration being shown.
Yeah, I think Bristol there. Oh, timeout called.
Immediate timeout called by Kate Gibson amongst picking up the disc. You can see Stewart a bit frustrated about the lack of options that were coming in, and frustration in herself to not at least get something up and into the end zone to give themselves a shot. But whilst there's a timeout on the field, we're going to take a timeout. Stay tuned for more exciting stuff coming after a message from our sponsors.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And created the set and made fun.
That was absolutely incredible.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more.
Yeah, look, all of my friends going crazy. I gotta brag on myself.
And we are back. Timeout just coming to a close, called by Spice. It's that O point shooting downwind. This point has been very long. We only have 5 minutes, almost 4 minutes left in the game with cap at 70. I believe because it's semis, it's now cap +1.
Soft cap.
Soft cap, and then it can go to a hard cap if needed. But different from yesterday, now that we're in the bracket.
Yeah, we see Spice setting up in a different shape. It looks like Hex. Trying to, I think, counter what they've seen from Bristol at this point, where Bristol's sags have proved really effective in forcing Spice to swing a lot, slow down their tempo, and not be able to hit downfield. We'll see. It looks similar from Bristol. It could be a zone. It could be just sags in the lane. Hard to tell until this starts moving. Swim from Kate Gibson to Heather Gibson. Heather Gibson to the near sideline, backhand sideline, back into the middle. So far, it seems like Bristol have won this start of the tactical battle where they're forcing Spice to take a lot of sideways passes here. Spice are making some progress downfield, but it's all through the handlers. They haven't managed to create threatening options downfield yet in this game. Scuba fake there from Heather Gibson. They do need to find a way to break through this first layer and find some of that quick tempo movement they did behind the cup earlier in the game.
I do think adding that fourth handler back, allowing them to make continual crashes, but there's a hole. Heather Gibson finding Sophie Mance, popping it along to Roisin Lynch, back to Bouchy. Lynch finding Heather.
So we're up around halfway now. That was a great throw from Heather Gibson to get through the defense. We saw her do that a lot in the first half. Let's see if she can find any more. Symington about level with the brick mark now, centers to Heather Gibson and swing to Kate Gibson inside the brick mark now. Reset back to Heather Gibson and back to Kate Gibson.
Bristol now breaking down into match based on the sideline communications, but it's not super clear if the players that are on the field realize that it's gone to match.
We're still seeing a lot of sagging in the lane from handler defenders, forcing Spice to continue taking sideways passes. Kate Gibson up the middle, looking for Heather Gibson far side. We're about 10 meters out from the goal line now. Marina Symington's played more downfield since the timeout. She's on disc for the first time in a little while. Reset back to Heather Gibson. She's looking for the backhand side for her sister. Kate Gibson with a shot. Roisin Lynch with the goal.
Pulling it off the top shelf for Roisin Lynch. Know your receiver there. Kate, knowing it's downwind, pops a high release up, knowing that that's the area that Roisin Lynch likes the most to be catching in. So great work there, coming out of that timeout by both teams, really. The Bristol zone holding them into their own half for a long time, like you say, throwing lots of passes, but this time Spice executing cleanly, swinging amongst themselves, slowly getting to build some progress, and then Heather Gibson finding that hole that started to break it all apart.
Yeah, that timeout really worked well for Spice. They calmed themselves down, moved into a slightly different offensive shape, and it allowed them to work the disc down the field. They trusted themselves to do that. They've got the goal. 9-8 now to Spice, going into the last minute of regular time. It's a moment that's really important for both teams to manage their emotional levels. Spice are going to be on a real high. They've scored that point. Bristol could be on a low. And for the players, it's really important to kind of recenter themselves, execute this next point. That last point's gone now.
Yeah, definitely. Last point has gone, and maybe Bristol are feeling low, but you can also think about it. It's like we just held that O-line out there for a really long time. The issue that we have, though, is time. Bristol don't have that much longer to try and get one back. Pull goes up. to about half field.
Third stack from Bristol. It looks like Spice are trying to surround it and play a clam. Swing to the backhand side. Similar defense we've seen for Bristol. Big swing over to Hocking on the far side.
Definitely a zoney look coming in. Potentially with an assassin on Link. Andrews with the disc now. Hits Henry upfield on the sideline.
Spice maintaining their zone, forcing Bristol to take some bigger swings across the field. Bristol executing really well so far. Swing from Hocking to Oldfield on the far side, up to, I think, Ellie Payne on the far side. Now Oldfield, lovely toss through to Gemma Henry. Tempo's excellent from Bristol right now, making the Spice defense do a lot of work to keep up. Kantorovich in the middle, back to Nat Oldfield.
Oh, and Lucy Simon with the block. Not sure who the intended receiver was there. Have a look at it again. Oldfield, I think, just mis-executing, wanting to hit Link, but throwing too far into the inside. Spice, opportunity for that D-line to play some offense, but that throw too far out to be reeled in.
Another opportunity here for Bristol. Second half has really changed a little bit from the first half. We saw a lot of kind of relatively quick points for the offenses playing downwind, and defenses have made some changes in the second half and forcing a lot more pressure onto the offense. Quick shot there from Link to Nat Oldfield, just too far out in front, and Spice have another chance playing upwind. Great break into the middle there from Spice, and we're onto the flick sideline. Both teams showing that they can move the disc without too much pressure, and it's how many passes they can kind of get together before the defense is able to apply pressure.
Lynn with the disc. Across to Beamish, I think, on the far side. Lim trying to get open. Trevino, though, able to. Throwing to Taylor, just too far, fading into the field. Kantorowicz able to get that D. Bristol back on O. Oldfield in the middle of the field to Henry. Follow Link. Looking for the end zone, finding Kantorowicz for that Bristol hold. 9s across the board. Time has gone, we're at 72 minutes. I'm not sure if they will have a chat amongst the teams to say, is it game to 11?
I think we're at 9-all now, which I think would make a game to 10. But
oh, game to 10 then?
I think.
So it'll make it Universe.
It could be, if it's a 70-minute game, but Alana and I are not showing our knowledge here, so hopefully the teams will tell us what the exact cap rules are. Looks like a timeout might have been called on the field. A lot of Bristol and a lot of Spice players on the field.
I think both teams probably wanting to stack the lines that are going in here. So probably quite happy to give people an opportunity to take a breath. We have confirmation from the captains. It is game to 10. This is Universe point between the two. Fantastic game coming into this. So both teams getting that upwind break and then downwind. So far a matter of the flip. If Spice can hold this.
Been a really hard fought game. We're seeing the superstars from both teams out in this point. A lot of the same Bristol players from the last point coming out. You've got Nat Oldfield, Carla Link, Laurel Piper, Ellie Payne. On the other side, we have got, I can't see them, sorry.
We have both the Gibsons, Symington, Wilkinson, Nance, Robinson, and Lynch. So very similar lines to the last couple. Basically all of their stacked lines.
Bricks Paul here, so it will be coming in. Heather Gibson will be starting off this point for us. Looks like we might be in hex again. Symington in the middle. Oh, we're playing from the sideline. Heather Gibson from the backhand sideline swings to her sister, and Kate Gibson swings into the middle of the field up to Symington. Bristol looking to sag and prevent those downfield options for Spice.
That Bristol zone coming out again, giving them the swings. They have 4 back this time. Hitting Mance.
Spice really trying to create options behind that cup. Kate Gibson, Heather Gibson getting a lot of touches. Marina Symington hovering behind the cup.
Mance to Lynch on the far side.
Shot.
Lynch winding up, but Oldfield in the way. That throw coming short. Link with the disc. Has somebody cutting deep, but opts to throw the reset to Boyd. Swing all the way across to Stewart. No mark right now. Kate Gibson coming in. Lulu Boyd. Stewart. Link.
Cuts starting to slow down from Bristol here.
Foul accepted on the field. An offensive cutting foul, which was a discussion between Oldfield and Wilkinson. Disc back in to Boyd.
We're seeing lots of quick handler movement here from Bristol. Great grab by Payne there under pressure. Cutters have started to slow down a little bit, and it'll be up to them whether they can find some space and put pressure onto the defense.
That just too low for Oldfield. Kate Gibson immediately picking up the disc, looking deep, touches quite far downfield. They've gone to match Bristol, playing pass and defense. Robinson with the disc to Kate Gibson. Symington. Lynch on this near sideline. Hucks again, looking for Heather Gibson. Downwind, just too far, with Lulu Boyd coming in as that defender. Another turn for this Spice O-line, giving Bristol another chance for the break. The energy on the sideline, though, is getting very exciting. Can't see much of the field. Having to watch on the TV. An injury was called on the field. Ryan Boyce coming in as that sub. Not sure if Spice took one, but an exciting universe point between Bristol and Spice.
Both teams at the moment looking to use handler sags to push the handlers backwards. Oh, shot straight away, looking for Nat Oldfield into the middle of the field. Great read by Brian Boys. And centered back to Nat Oldfield. Gemma Taylor on this side of the field. Missed shot to Ellie Payne, and Spice have the disc back again. Shot up to Heather Gibson. And to Kate Gibson on the backhand side of the field. She's looking downfield. Big fakes and then swing across the field. Bristol really committed to their handler sags to disconnect the cutters and the handlers. Swing to the far side. Big bit from Ellie Payne. Sick. Have a bit of a jailbreak here.
Spice.
Sorry. I'm getting too excited.
Robinson with the disc on the end zone line. Oh, Nat Oldfield with a run through D. Keeping Bristol's hopes and dreams alive.
Amazing heads up play by Nat there. Carla up to Nat. Nat shoots to Gemma Taylor. It's going to float for a little while. It's fading left. Gemma Taylor has position, makes the grab.
That disc going up quite high, but Payne with plenty of time.
Eddie Payne with reset to the centre of the field with Boyd. Upfield to Stewart on the far side. Swing back to Boyd, no mark, and swing continue to the flick side. Really quick tempo here. Shot to Link for the goal.
Great layout there by Heather Gibson, really trying to put it all on the line, but fantastic work by the Bristol D-line to overcome quite a tough game and end up with the win on Universe Point. Bristol 10, Spice 9.
What an amazing game. Both teams had their chances into a Universe Point, and an amazing upwind goal from Bristol to win it. Spice, I'm really sorry. I called you sick about 6 times in that. I apologise for that. I really appreciated you guys. You put on an amazing show with Bristol, and Alara and I both had a great time commentating.
Yes, absolutely. This was a showcase of where women's ultimate is at, I think, in the UK scene. Definitely exciting to see what the rest of the season brings for both of the squads. And I do think that this was a ranked game between the two teams. I think they both were ranked. So it is definitely something that is going to be beneficial, I think, to both parties in the long term.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
Lost and out of focus, I can hear a word you say. 'Cause I don't care about your game, I just wanted you to see me. Thought that you should know